It's the 10th of July, and this is your News Bite, brought to you by eNCA.com. I'm Marcelle Gordon, and in your news today, criminal prosecution in the Enyobeni Tavern tragedy is on the cards, drama in the AmaZulu royal household, and will he stay or will he go? Conflicting reports over Hugo Broos' tenure with Bafana. An Eastern Cape court has found that there is evidence to back potential criminal prosecution in the Enyobeni Tavern tragedy. This follows an inquest that was set up in 2024 following the 2022 event that claimed 21 young lives, including that of a 13-year-old. The victims died from inhaling toxic fumes during a pens down party, prompting calls for prosecution. eNCA reporter Ronald Masinda has more on the judgment from the Mdantsane Regional Court.
Well, no surprises into Magistrate Malindi's ruling, suggesting that those who were involved, the owners and the manager of the Tavern Inquest, were negligent in their behavior following the deaths of 21 young people. He also implicated Tembisa Diko, the former bouncer of Enyobeni Tavern. But the other parties that have been found to be responsible for not dealing with the situation at Enyobeni Tavern are also members of the South African Police Service as well as the Eastern Cape Liquor Board. Now, for more reaction, I am joined by the Eastern Cape's Commissioner for the SA Human Rights Commission, Dr. Eileen Carter. Thank you so much for your time. And it was almost identical to your own report looking into the matter.
Absolutely, Ronald. We're very encouraged that today's findings from the court echoes what the Human Rights Commission found 2 years ago in its recommendation-based report, and that it points out the service delivery failure from the stakeholders that should have upheld their duty to protect and respect the rights of those involved in the Enyobeni tragedy. The Commission's own investigation found systemic failures of the Eastern Cape Liquor Board in terms of their mandate. And similarly, we found systemic failures in the mandate of the South African Police Service. So we are encouraged to hear that these sentiments have been echoed by the court now. Certainly a step in the right direction, but certainly no closure yet for the families.
Now, the families of the Enyobeni victims are demanding tougher enforcement of laws to prevent minors from drinking alcohol. Here's Kulukile Ngandana.
As the owner of any property, if anything's happened in your property, then you have to take some of the blame. There's still a lot of things that are happening out there, more especially when it comes to underage drinking and the selling of alcohol to the underage, and the businesses that are not closing at the time that are supposed to be closing, and they will open until the early hours of the morning, whereas they were supposed to be closed earlier than that. It is still happening. We believe, or I believe, that there should be tighter laws around liquor in this country.
Finance Minister Godongwana has weighed in on Treasury's decision to withhold funds from 69 municipalities who've been found not to have their financial house in order. And it won't stop there. Godongwana says provincial and national departments that dodge their municipal bills will face the same financial lockdown.
We must also stop this culture of non-payment by different government institutions. In this regard, I'm sure the team may reference to the fact that we will also be taking a similar exercise against provinces, against national departments. We send letters to provinces, as we have done to municipalities, and said, here are the amounts that you owe to municipalities. Verify these numbers. They came back and said, no, these numbers are not. It's not our duty. The PFMA requires an accounting officer to make sure that you can deal with whatever your accounts creditors. Yeah, they are creditors.
Godongwana is insisting he's not just playing the bad guy with a big stick. He says withheld funding to 29 of the 69 municipalities will be reinstated by next week.
We are working with all of those municipalities and we have made progress. A number of them have responded. We have been able to get satisfactory answers by now. We're still dealing with the remainder from about 29 of these municipalities. The they are the first fortunate one who will get their money by next week, Thursday. It's through the system. From our side, we can instruct that they must get paid, but there's BAS and other systems of government which they've got their own date of payment. So, as and when the money, we finished with them, we're doing this thing on a weekly basis. Money will be transferred to the relevant municipalities.
In an intriguing story coming out of the US, a Tennessee court has sentenced Portia Anyamba to 6 months in jail for acting as a foreign agent for South Africa. Officials say the 59-year-old lied about her connections while applying for government security clearance. The former SA Air Force general was applying for that clearance at a US Energy Department facility when she was red flagged. She's been sentenced to 6 months imprisonment to be followed by 2 years of supervised release. She was also fined $9,500. eNCA's Mitch McCann has been taking a closer look at the story. He reports that Anyamba was working in the National Security Program Office at Oak Ridge National Laboratory in Tennessee, a facility run by the U.S. Department of Energy.
Officials say they discovered that Anyamba was regularly in contact with an intelligence officer working for South Africa's State Security Agency, or the SSA. They say they were familiar with the officer, who was at the time the SSA's Deputy Chief of Station and the former Acting Chief of Station at the South African Embassy in Washington, D.C. The FBI says that in 2024, agents watched as Anyamba met with the intelligence officer and another person with connections to South Africa at a restaurant in Knoxville, Tennessee, before they travelled to a hotel. They observed Anyamba leaving and then she returned home, retrieving an item from her car. They say the next time that she was planning to meet the intelligence officer, that person texted her saying, "Please remember to also bring the laptop with." As she headed to the meeting, the FBI swooped in and arrested her and seized the laptop. The FBI says Anyamba was also in the process of applying for a security clearance, which would have given her access to classified information, and that she had even texted her references saying, "Please don't mention anything about the embassy." The FBI said in a media statement that Anyamba knowingly acted as an agent of a foreign country, which placed national security at risk. She pleaded guilty to 1 count of acting as an agent of the Republic of South Africa and 1 count of making false statements in her security clearance application.
The Department of International Relations and Cooperation and the State Security Agency are yet to comment on the story. The Madlanga Commission has turned its attention to the Independent Directorate Against Corruption. It includes evidence relating to IDAC head Andrea Johnson. First on the stand was retired Hawks investigator Kobus Roelofse. He's told the Commission about alleged interference from Johnson, and this was over a criminal complaint of assault and intimidation against crime intelligence boss Feroz Khan.
The purpose of this statement is to inform the Commission of a matter regarding events in 2018 reported to Captain McLean and me in 2022 involving Advocate Andrea Johnson and Major General Khan, Feroz Khan. Commissioners, for context, maybe I should just refer to our investigation in 2020 against, in terms of crime intelligence, and the conduct that we experienced at the time, which included the using of the media to put pressure on us when we investigated this matter from crime intelligence. Major General Khan has played a huge role in that. In fact, I have a witness that's still in the program who testified or who has provided me with an affidavit regarding General Dramat at the time, where he was a witness to a conversation where General Khan was also, to place a media report regarding the rendition to get rid of General Dramat, so that, because we were reporting to him directly at the time.
Meanwhile, over at the Germiston Magistrates Court, where bail was granted to former Ekurhuleni City Manager Imogen Mashazi and suspended HR head Linda Gxasheka, the pair faced charges related to corruption and defeating the ends of justice. eNCA reporter Pulele Sweetie Jones was in court.
So essentially, Mashazi's legal team argues that some of the addresses of the properties that the state presented here yesterday do not belong to her, including one of those in in Mpumalanga as well. And we know that they've been granted bail to the value of 50,000 Rand each. So all accused have been granted bail for 50,000 Rand, facing those serious charges, including corruption as well. And right now what will happen is that there will be some bit of discussions between the state and the defense to try and transfer the matter to a different court. We are yet to receive the name. This matter, of course, being postponed to August. And they have put in strict bail conditions, obviously, for the accused to hand over their travel documents, to report to their nearby police stations, as indicated, and not to interfere with witnesses as well. So for now, it means that Mashazi walks pending the outcome of investigations. However, what will be quite interesting is to see what unfolds in terms of the disciplinary processes, which involves Behari, Gxasheka, and of course Julius Mkhwanazi.
Elsewhere in court was former Public Enterprises Minister Malusi Gigaba. The Johannesburg High Court postponed his corruption case to the 23rd of October. Is the AmaZulu royal marriage on the rocks, or is it a case of having too much on the rocks? A video that has since gone viral shows King Msizulu Kazwelithini confronting his wife while holding a bottle of alcohol. In the rant, he threatens to cut off her funding and orders her to leave. Queen Mamyeni, who filmed the video, says this is her daily reality. But the spokesperson for the king, Mpikayisi Mbutelezi, says every household has its issues.
Yonke imizi ineendaba zayo. Le nto eyenzakele engiyibukile nakwi-video iphuma. Abantu fanele bahloniphe ilungelo lomuntu kakhulukazi abantu abaganene. Umuntu ozame ukukhipha lokhu fanele sikhumbule sonke singama-Afrika ukuthi yonke nje imizi ineendaba zayo. Ukho okufanele ukuthi uma kubuza indaba zalowo muzi bese kuphumela abanye abantu. Phila komuntu ngomuntu ekhaya emzini wakhe kufanele sikuhloniphe. Kube yilabo ke abavezela ukuthi bakhiphe lendlela abakhiphe ngayo. Kodwa njengamanje ngiyasho kini nonke ma-Afrika manje ukuthi yonke imizi ineendaba zawo. Sixolisa kakhulu ukuba ushembe ngoba khona amagama amthintile kulokhu kukhuluma. Siyaxolisa thina njengami ngikhulumela isilo AmaZulu onke siyaxolisa kuba ushembe.
In other news, we're keeping an eye on. Hundreds of workers affiliated to the South African Municipal Workers Union marched to National Treasury demanding a salary protection and an end to what they describe as Treasury's bullying. SAMWU also wants an immediate overhaul of the local government equitable share formula and municipal revenue allocations to be bumped up to 15%. An all-important summit of NATO leaders took place in Turkey this week, and it's the host nation's president who set tongues wagging with the parting gift he handed his fellow leaders. What do you give the leaders of some of the world's most powerful countries, you may ask? People who have everything? How about a shiny engraved revolver, along with 6 bullets? The Canadian Prime Minister quipped that his gift of maple syrup felt a little undermatched, while the revolvers meant for the German Chancellor and the Dutch and British Prime Ministers were left behind in the Turkish capital. I suppose regifting is not an option. Onto the world of sports now, and France have become just the 3rd nation after Germany and Brazil to reach the FIFA World Cup semi-finals at 3 successive tournaments. Le Bleu booked their place with a 2-0 victory over Morocco at Boston Stadium. Kylian Mbappe drew level with Lionel Messi as the tournament's joint lead scorer. Tonight, Spain take on Belgium in the second quarter-final. SAFA has dismissed claims that Hugo Broos has left his role as Bafana head coach. A report in a Belgian publication said that Broos had confirmed his exit. The 74-year-old had previously said that his tenure would come to an end after his World Cup, but seemed to leave the door open following Bafana's historic run there. On to rugby, and Rassie Erasmus is set to make Springbok coaching history when South Africa tackles Scotland in the Nations Championship at Loftus Stadium on Saturday. It will be a record 55th Bok Test as head coach, breaking the previous record of 54 held by Jake White. A remarkable 75.93% win rate during his 54 matches in charge of the Boks. Meanwhile, Springbok and Cheetahs star Klerk says he's not back in South Africa merely to see out the end of his career. The Pocket Rocket insists his move to Bloem is driven by a desire to remain competitive. He'll make his official debut when they face the Lions in the Courier Cup next week.
I think a lot of people think I'm coming here to retire, but that's not the case at all. I want to still play. I want to be competitive, want to try and be the best in my position, try and be the best for the team. But yeah, I think any good 9 has to have a bit of that seniority in the team. You have to boss the forwards, you have to be that link between the forwards and the back. So that's always been sort of my role in any team. And I think any good 9 does that. So it's not more pressure at all. I think the only pressure is just to really try and make an impact on and off the field for the Free State.
And on to tennis, Linda Noskova says it will be a special moment when she gets on Wimbledon centre court on Saturday to play her countrywoman, Karolina Muchova, in the final. Noskova did a quick job of beating Marta Kostyuk in the semi-final.
Yeah, Karolina, she is such a great fighter, such an incredible player, but mainly and mostly she's a great person. So I'm glad I get to play my first final with her.
And that's where we wrap today's News Bite. For developments in these and more, keep an eye on eNCA.com and DSTV channel 403.